It's Monday, so let's talk about some of the weekend's box office numbers. If rallies to a decent start, The Strangers is a surprise hit. Yes, sadly, The Strangers is. Let's take a look at the top 5 for the weekend of May 17th to the 19th. If was number 1. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was number 2. Strangers, Chapter 1 was number 3. Number 4 was The Fall Guy. And number 5 was Challengers. So, If was projected around the 30 million mark on Friday, and well, I would say that that's 35 million. It's a little bit higher than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to struggle to get to 30 million. Now, I did go out and see it over the weekend, so my reviews are up on the channel right now, as well as a new segment that I'm starting, Best Part, Worst Part. It's just a small little short. I'm going to tell you what I thought was the best part of the movie, and then the worst part of the movie. It's just a quick little snapshot review. So, 35 million domestically, 24 internationally, for a worldwide total of 59 million on a $110 million budget. Guys, that's going to struggle, because next week it's going to run into Garfield and Furiosa opens up. So all the more older, mature audiences who are slightly curious about If will be going to see Furiosa instead. And then, of course, the kids, they will be wanting to see Garfield. It's dropped. It was 50% on the weekend. Now it's down to 49% by the critics, 87% by the audience. So the people that are going out to see it are liking it and having a more of appreciation for it than the critics. My analysis was that it was just a bit too long in the second act. And it needs to be said that Ryan Reynolds is not the main character of the movie, because I think some people think that he is, and it's not. Love this movie, sweet and endearing, says one of the fans. But it had its moments. It just was a bit too long, coming in at an hour and 44 minutes. If it was like an hour and a half, it would have been a lot tighter, I felt. Our Glass Viking says, I was the only person in the theater for Boy Kills World. Great private screening. No, that would have been a great one. Hey, I'm glad that you had fun with it, too. Boy Kills World was just a fun little movie. I reckon I'll wait to stream If and Garfield. Yeah, I think that's the problem. Garfield, it is what it is. Let's take a look at the rest of the numbers here. So, 35 million. It's going to run into some trouble, I think. And let's take a look at the second one. The Strangers, Chapter 1, 12 million. Domestically, no international numbers. And you would say, well, is this going to be a bomb then, James? Nobody liked this movie. 13% by critics, 43% by the audience. You know how much I criticized this film. It was a lazy script. It was just a complete rehash of the first movie, but made for like TV. It was like a made-for-TV version of The Strangers. It was that tame. You could show this at 7 p.m. on a Friday night on ABC and not have to edit anything out. Maybe the occasional swear word. But, like, it's not gory. I don't know what they were smoking. So, 12 million. You would think, well, is it going to be good enough? It had an $8.5 million budget, so it's made its production budget back, plus marketing costs. It's going to have to probably make around 16 to 20 million to break even, and it's going to do that, sadly, which is going to send a mixed message to the studio heads, thinking, oh, we've made a success here. We've made something that people like. You look at the tomato score, no, it's not what people like. And if you just go by the numbers alone, you would say, oh, well, then let's go forward with Chapter 2. The problem is that they shot all three of them back to back. So it's kind of like they've locked themselves into this story. I would immediately, like in the next week or so, cut a deal to put Chapter 2 and 3 out on streaming. Like, I would have Chapter 2 come out on Amazon Prime or Netflix or whoever wants to pick it up in the next month, and try and hope that there's a good enough will from people to say, okay, I like the second part. You should probably go see the first one in the theater, just to make sure that you know what's going on. And as I had predicted, if you hadn't seen a horror movie before, then you'll probably like this movie. But if you've seen horror movies, and if you are a movie fan, then this is just this is garbage. This is junk. This is not of any repute. This is not worthy of your time, and it's definitely not worthy of owning it on 4K. I know Chris Schober would like to hear about this kind of stuff, but Walmart exclusive Steelbook, July 23rd. So just in time for Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah, guys, no. I have no interest. Like, even if you bought this for me as a gift, I'd be like, what am I supposed to do with this? I would take it to a pawn shop and try to get $5 for it. You know, maybe get a tall boy or something like that from the beer store. It's not even worthy to be used as S cup coaster or paperweight. S cup? Yeah. You guys know how I felt about The Strangers. I raked it over the coals over the weekend. So the Strangers trilogy is a big old cash grab. And the thing is that this is what we try to tell people to do. Take a recognizable IP, make something small and self-contained, but they just didn't. And it's going to have the same problems that Exorcist Believer did. And I'm glad that they changed course from what they were doing with the Exorcist franchise, bringing in Mike Flanagan. Thank you. But you can't do that now because Rennie Harlin directed chapter 2 and 3, right? Because you locked yourselves in. It's a disaster, I think. I would not expect the same kind of box office return for chapter 2. They're going to have to negotiate rough waters for chapter 2. Next, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes falls down to the second spot. And has now grossed a worldwide total of 237 on a budget of like around 140, right? Is that what I heard for it? Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes budget was around 160, sorry. So 160 budget for Kingdom, 237. It's going to have to make around 300 to break even. Luckily, this is a film that's going to be able to, well, what is it? 3 weeks now? 3 weeks? It's going to be 3 weeks next week. Furiosa and Garfield are going to push everything down. So it'll probably fall down to the 4th spot. Strangers will fall out of the top 5 next week. And I think Back to Black will have some staying power in there. Maybe Fall Guy. No, Fall Guy will be in number 5. So it'll probably go Furiosa, Garfield, if Kingdom of the... No, actually, I don't know if will hang in there. I think it'll go Furiosa, Garfield, Kingdom, if, and then Fall Guy next week. Because in the States, we had a 3-day weekend this weekend, and in the States, they've got a 4-day weekend this coming weekend. So Furiosa will have a big box office return. But good for Kingdom. It'll have another couple of weeks here of getting in the top 5. The other new release was Back to Black, the Amy Winehouse biopic. Grossed 2.8 domestically, 36 internationally, for a worldwide total of 39.4 million. Wow. On a budget of around 22.7. So it's almost made its like break-even point. 22 million. It's almost 40 million. I didn't think it would do that. Seeing that it was getting raked, it was just lambasted by the critics. 35%. Oy. That score factored into me going out to see it because I was like, I don't really want to go watch a bad movie right now because I just watched Strangers Chapter 1. So I saw the TV Glow instead. 86% by the audience. So the audience seems to be liking it a bit more. Maybe tomorrow on Cheap Tuesday, half price Tuesday for $7, I'll go see Back to Black. Yeah. So, not a bad haul for Back to Black. Tarot, the Blue Angels. What was the other one? I saw the TV Glow. This is the one I saw. A smaller art house film. 1.4 million. And it probably didn't have a big budget. Like it probably only had like a $1.4 million budget, if that. Like it wasn't that high. Drama, horror, yeah. Psychedelic thriller is psychedelic drama, yeah. It does a lot of abstract storytelling. It's not a straightforward narrative with an obscure ending that is for sure going to turn off the casual movie fan. They'll look at it and say, "What is this? This is meant for artsy fartsy types, right?" And then the artists people out there who like big swings and things with a little bit more flair, they look at it and say, they'll be like, "This is my cup of tea." I didn't hate it. I also I appreciated what they were trying to do with it. My review's up on the channel for that one. What's next? Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Now, Babes was the other one that got 12 theaters. The plot's under wraps. No, it's not. No, it's not. Okay. I was like, maybe I shouldn't Google that one. Because I don't want to get plot under wraps. It's not under wraps. I say, what? It's not under wraps. What are you doing? Pregnant from a one-night stand, Eden leans on her best friend and mother of two, Dawn, to guide her through gestation and beyond. Okay, so it's about actually having a baby. Meh. Not my cup of tea, but it's for some, so that's probably going to have wider releases in weeks to come.